Folks, got us another wine here. This is an Old Vine Zinfandel, you know what I'm saying? From California. Alright. So, sorry everyone. Sorry everyone. Alright. It's not easy being born with horns and shit. Alright, so got us a wine here. This is Cardinal Zin, Beastly Old Vines. This is Old Vine Zinfandel, 2012 California, at 13.5% alcohol by volume. It is from Big House Wine Company, Livermore, California, which is kind of a coincidence because I had liver with this because I imagine you've all had an Old Vine Zinfandel, or at least a red Zinfandel. And there's pretty heavy-duty stuff, so, you know, you like to cook with a little bit of wine with your liver, so that's pretty good for that. Maybe something else that is quite heavy, like peppered steak or something. So, the reason I bought this, I've been bypassing this wine for a very long time. Here's the label. Okay, it didn't look like, you know, with a label like Big House, I didn't think it would be very good or whatever, and it was like $8 or something like that, $8 or $9 for Old Vine Zin. And I bought some other Old Vine Zinfandels. You might want to check the reviews on that one, on those ones. Boggle, which was $16 from California. Old Vine Zinfandel, which was awesome, very smooth. And Gnarly Head, which is a little bit cheaper. Not quite as good as the Boggle, but it's still pretty good. And so, I don't know. I just thought, let's roll the dice and see what we get for an $8 bottle of Old Vine Zinfandel from California. So, alright, check out that pour if you can see that. This is my first tip off. Okay. It's a strange color for Old Vine Zinfandel. It's kind of murky and bright red. Kind of almost like it's 2014, by the way, December 2014. So this wine isn't real old, but it's, you know, it's almost like Pinot-ified or something. You know what I mean? It's like fruity, and I'm gonna try to explain this as best as I can. It's not as deep and dark and rich as you would expect off an Old Vine Zinfandel at all. It just isn't that at all. In fact, I had a Shiraz at a tasting. Had everything wine and more, which was a cheap bottle of Shiraz I had, which was coming off like this color-wise, kind of an unfiltered. It was a Shiraz though, but I'd never seen a Shiraz like that either. It was very red and unfiltered and crazy looking, and it tasted a lot like sour cherries, rose hips, and hibiscus, and so does this. It's very much sour cherry, rosehip, and hibiscus, which aren't normally flavors I'd pull out of an Old Vine Zinfandel. It doesn't look like a regular Old Vine Zin. It doesn't taste like that. You know, not that it's completely different, but it's not tasting like what you would expect. This has been breathing for at least 3 hours. Does have some nice flavors to it though, but the finish is pretty horrendous. You're getting a lot of sour cherries, a lot of unripened berries. In through the middle, you are getting a lot of ripened blackberries, a lot of very smooth blackberry flavors. It is very smooth mouthfeel up front and through the middle. You are picking up rosehip, hibiscus type sour cherry stuff going on, but it's subsided quite a bit with the breathe time. It was very green tasting and not off the bat, but we're still getting this bitter fruit, like not quite ripened enough strawberries, not quite ripened enough raspberries in the finish for sure. Just as soon as it kind of goes back, it kind of is a bit of a shock, and then you're getting some kind of neat, like decent fruit flavors out of it too, like proper fruit flavors, like properly ripened berries and properly ripened and stuff like that. Almost want to say, almost like a red delicious apple skin kind of thing going on. It's an unusual wine for $8. It's not a total loss or anything. I mean, that's really cheap, and Old Vine Zinfandels are really affordable considering like what you're getting. They're a really amazing wine for $14 to $16, like under $20 bottle. Old Vine Zin is crazy wine. It's this one is just not really fitting what I visualize getting. It really has mellowed out. It's just not heavy enough. It's just not packing the mostly. It's just the big missing factor here is an Old Vine Zin is like, it's like a 5-ton truck. It's just, it's huge. It's a massive wine. It's absolutely incredible. It's very rich, very velvety, heavy textures. It's bringing all kinds of like kind of there's a flavor about it. Just the Old Vine Zin flavor, like you're getting out of the skins, are so dark and there's so much pigment in the wine. It'll like turn your teeth black. It's just probably the biggest wine I've ever had is the Old Vine Zins. That's what I'm just not getting that at all out of this. That's what's been the Pinot-ified. It's very runny and strange. Like you are getting a little bit of that heaviness in the very back, that little bit of that Zinfandel, red Zinfandel kick, because I love red Zinfandel. I didn't know there was such thing as white Zinfandel. I bought red Zinfandel, and then I bought a bottle that said Zinfandel on it, and I didn't look at it too closely. This is way back in the day, and then I brought it home, and it was this pink shit, and was it pink or was it white? I can't remember, but I was blown away. But apparently this white Zinfandel or this pink Zinfandel shit is a big thing. I didn't even know. But this red stuff is completely different. It's not at all. It's totally insane. It's very fruity, and I'm just seeing it as a pretty much a fail. It's a fail for Zinfandel. It's not horrible tasting wine. I've had a lot of wines that taste worse than this. So if you didn't know any better and you picked this up for $8, you could drink it and enjoy it, and you'd probably think, oh, well, it's a pass for wine. So like you'd probably be looking at like a 50-point wine or like a 55-point wine. Knowing what red Zinfandel is really like, this is a fail as red Zinfandel. This is like a 20. Like compared to like a real red Zinfandel, it's a complete and utter train wreck. But it's still drinkable, and that's how good red Zinfandel is, especially to me. I really do like that type of grape. So, I mean, you know, unless, I don't know, an $8 bottle is in, I don't think I'm missing the mark here. I think this is pure shit. But I mean, it's still as wine, you could do a lot worse for $8. What I'm saying, so like it's a pass for wine, 50, and it's like a 20 for Old Vine Zinfandel. So maybe meet somewhere in the middle. Realistically, it's like, I don't know, somewhere around maybe a 30-point wine or something. It's not a wine I would buy again. And I don't know what the factor is. I don't know enough about the process to know if this is just a weather problem, a terroir problem, or something that went wrong during making the must or something. You know, I don't know exactly what happened, why it's so turbid and bright red instead of dark red. I don't know why. I had a Shiraz like this too. I don't know why it was that way. It was the only Shiraz I've ever had that was like bright red and turbid and murky and sour. and not bringing any of the big spice flavors that you would expect from a Shiraz. So I don't know what happened, whether this was just frost related or too hot, or maybe they don't know how to take care of the must or something. I don't know. I'm guessing it's something to do with weather. But we'll see. If anyone has had this before, a different year, and it was a proper Zinfandel, let me know. This is 2012. If you've had like a 2010 or 2007, it was a lot different. Let me know, because this could just be a really bad year, and I'd hate to give them such a bad rap over 1 year as some type of weather issue they had. But all in all, I can't say as I like it. And for $8, I guess that's my fault, and I'm not all that surprised. But I'm drinking it for most of it, for the most part, and have a good fucking wine time, and I'm out. Beerzerker!